Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me and see my screen? Yeah? Or, sorry, not see my screen. You guys can hear me. Okay, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Good, good, good. All right, let's hear it. How many of you guys are new here? First time, first time. Okay, we got, what, 313 people in the room here. We got a lot of people here for the first time. Fantastic, fantastic. Where is everyone from? Where are you guys all located right now? Singapore, Pakistan, India, Philippines, Ireland. Oh, you guys are just waiting to hit that enter button, aren't you? Mexico, Bali, San Diego, Nigeria, Oregon, Richmond, Virginia, Poland, Dubai, India, South Africa. Wow, we got everyone here. Good, good. We've got Maldives in here as well. Slovenia, Michigan, Bangladesh. Okay, okay, good, good. Welcome, welcome. So for those of you guys who do not know me, my name is Navin Prithiani. Where is the beer? No beer today. Drinking wine. So cheers if anyone's drinking with me right now. Some Spanish ham if you guys like. so, yeah, so any of you guys who do not know me, my name is Navin Prithiani. I'm going to be your host tonight. We're going to be talking about stuff that has to do with timing. When is it important to time, your trades? So what time of the day do you guys trade? So we're going to be covering a little bit of that today here. Let me get the recording started locally, so I can get that on YouTube for you guys. One moment here. Oh, by the way, maybe I can show you guys right now. Is there's a light show happening in Hong Kong, so I can probably show it to you from my window here. Let me just turn off my screen here. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see it very clearly. Um, well, there's the light show happening right now in Hong Kong. We're up on the 109th floor. Yeah, it's a little bit dark right now. But yeah, okay. Well, maybe it's not so visible as I thought it was gonna be. So let's get all the lights back. Yeah, we're up quite high. We're at the, Ritz-Carlton right now. Let me plug in my mic again. Okay. Okay, yeah. So we're currently at the Ritz-Carlton, and it's in Hong Kong. It's one of the highest hotels here. So me and my girlfriend, that's her right now. All right, so I wanted to give this place a try, see how it is. The internet was good. That's one of the main reasons why I'm here. So uh, everything should be stable here. Okay, so let's get this thing started. We've been 7 minutes into this. I just wanted to say hello to all of you guys. So let's get this thing started. This is Navin Prithiani from urbanforex.com, and we're going to be going over the topic today on times to trade. Now, how many of you guys actually think about what time of day you guys are trading? Okay, how many of you guys actually have a job that you guys have to, go to and yeah, take care of, or a business? Okay, trading job, full-time trader. Okay, trading full-time. Okay, now when you're trading full-time, so let's say you wake up in the morning, you have your breakfast, you have your coffee and all that stuff, and then you look at the markets and then you see something set up. Do you guys actually take a trade? Okay, some of you guys are saying I trade Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 till 12. There are some yeses, some nos, some maybes. Okay, now it's really critical. It's really critical to know when you trade. Okay, couple things though. As traders, especially for the way we go over the MPA course, right? The Mastering Price Action. Movement is key for us. Now, we know it's a 24 hours market, right? But timing is critical. If there is not much engagement in the markets, then we're going to have some issues taking a trade, right? Do you guys understand that? So from the timings that we have the Asian markets, we have the Euro markets, we have the US markets. The most critical times we want to be paying attention to is around the openings of these markets. Okay? Around the close of them also starts to pick up, but London open, yeah. London open, New York open, Frankfurt open, and Tokyo open is also quite nice. Okay? Yeah, when you're trading around these opens, you start to see more momentum. So let me open up this screen here, and let me do mini control. Okay, can you guys see my screen, my charts? Okay, okay, good. All right, now let's do this. Let's take a look at this. Let's say on the 15-minute chart. Let's go into a pair like Euro USD, and I'm going to change the time over here to US. I'll make it New York time. There we go, Chicago, New York. Here we go. Okay, so it's all in New York time now. Can everyone still hear me just fine? Should I make it louder? Here, I made it slightly louder. Hopefully that will be okay. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Just sexy like that. Okay, good, good, good. All right. So when we're looking at this here, now this is the New York time here. Now let's go over this. Take a look at the action happening early hours of the day. Okay, this is 6 o'clock in the morning right here. That's 6 o'clock in the morning. This is noon. Okay, lunchtime for traders. Okay, look at the action in between this area. High action. Look at it from noon all the way till middle of the night. You see that? See that chop happening? Okay, so when we look at that and then we go further down, let's say right around here, okay, we're looking at this again around 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, 3 o'clock in the morning, we're looking at busy hours again, which is London Open. Okay, more action, lots of movement. Hi, Tom. It's okay. It's okay. So one of these key important pieces is if you're trading in hours that are not busy, you might pick up a trade, but the fact that it takes so long for the trade to set up, maybe 2 or 3 hours can pass by and your trade's not doing anything. What most people will do is they'll bail on their trade, or they'll add more position, thinking that it's gonna go soon, it's gonna go soon, and they'll keep adding position to it. Okay, so one of those two things is gonna happen. Okay, and that's the problem with trading around those times. We're just constantly looking for, well, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? And then you start to doubt your own trading style, trading system, or methods, whichever one you use. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples here. Okay, of how this is relevant. Okay, I'm going to open up our elite community, and I'm going to show you some of the stocks that we were looking at since Saturday. Okay, so let's go with the first one. Okay, Saturday we were looking at this for Euro Aussie. This was preparing for a buy. Okay, so this is the daily chart here. It's in a massive downward movement, but we're looking to buy this. Yeah, for those of you guys who are having some issues connecting, don't worry. Everything's still recorded. See if you guys can log in and watch it. Great. Otherwise, it's recorded, so you should be fine. Okay, so it's coming down. It's doing a major pullback, and we're looking to, buy it somewhere in this area on the 4-hour chart. Okay, for those of you who are in the Mastering Price Action course will understand what I'm trying to say here. So we're trying to hit the buy there, but we're trying to understand why should this buy work and when should it work, because it's a 4-hour time frame. It takes so bloody long to set up. Let's take a look at this on the chart. Okay, here, Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie. There we go. We're on the 4-hour chart here. And as we're looking to buy it, we're waiting for an area like this to activate our buys. Now, an area like that, if I was to go down to the 15-minute and point out when this activity begins for the buy, and I want to also point out this area here where the dead zone happens. Okay, let's go into the 15 minutes and let's look at that area here. We're looking at an area between noon all the way down to the middle of the night where everything is chop, 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 chop central, if you want to call it. But for the takeoff moments, look at the timings of it. It's happening right slightly prior to the London market. Okay, Frankfurt opens at 2 a.m. Sorry, London would open at 2 a.m. Frankfurt would open at 1 because of the daylight savings have changed. So, okay, so this is the area where the markets actually start to take off. So when you're preparing something and you have a trade setting up and it's ready, chances are it's going to activate in one of those few sessions. Now let's go through some critical questions. Let's go through some critical questions. Is it still New York time? Let's confirm. Yes, it's still on New York time. Okay, let's go through some critical questions. Now, those of you guys okay, let's take a look at another pair that we had listed. Okay, where's the second one? Here. The next one was for a sell on CAD yen. Okay, we're looking for a pullback that we can sell on this one. And the 4-hour charts says this thing is pretty much ready to go for a sell. So as we look at this on CAD yen, we are on CAD yen. For this sell to happen, okay, this sell right there. For this sell to happen, as we look at this amongst our students and everything, we want to go in and see, well, when does it actually activate? Okay, it's been going down for some time, but if we're on the 15-minute, look at all this chop, 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 followed by a takeoff starting at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then it starts to move. This is all New York time. And that's when the activity starts happening because traders are starting to come into the office, in London, in Frankfurt, and stuff like that. So activity starts to pick up. One key factor that most students also overlook, especially those who are trading higher time frames. How many of you guys here trade a time frame like 1 hour or higher? Okay, so I see some 4 hours in there. Okay, there's plenty of you guys trading higher time frames. Okay, we've got some dailies in there, some 1 hour 15s, 4 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour, 4 hour. Okay, 8-hour time frame as well. Okay, all right. So when we're trying to trade a higher time frame, now think of it this way: if you activate your trade on a higher time frame and you're saying I'm preparing to do my sell, and my sell needs to go from here all the way down to my recent low to my target. Now, if we see that on a chart, that's like, the price is going from 8,400 all the way down to 8,250. How many pips is that? From 84 to 8,250. $150, right? Okay, so if you're going down 150 pips, I'm going to show you guys a little neat trick here today, okay? Show you guys a little neat trick here. 150 pip movement, first thing first. What can cause something to move 150 pips? Does a general technical analysis make the market move 150 pips? Yeah, you need some kind of news. Okay, what time does the news come in? Does the news announcements generally come in the middle of the night? No, they generally have around a fixed timing, opening hours or closing hours. It's around that time it starts to come in, right? So you want to use that. You want to use that information that you have a long ways to go, and if the trade hasn't gone yet, chances are it's waiting for a market open or a upcoming news, especially if you have to go far distances. However, here's another thing. Let's take a look at this. 150 pips is what we know. I'm going to show you guys something really interesting here. I'm going to put in a indicator. I'm going to put in here an ATR, which is called the average true range. Okay. All right. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trading the indicator. Just hang in there. It's like, I can see so many people saying, "What indicator? Blasphemy! Throw them out the window, 109 floors down." You know, it's like, no. So this indicator, what it is what an ATR does is called average true range. Okay, an average true range. Now, can everyone see the number right here in maroon or red color here? Okay. So this one is set to ATR 14, which means it's going to look at the last 14 candles and it's going to give you an average number of pips. An average number of pips. Okay, so if I go to the latest area, okay, what's the number in red that you see? Okay, so how many pips is that? Okay, considering how the yen, okay, good. No, not 322. Remember, this is CAD yen. It's after the decimal, 2 digits. Yeah, 32 pips. So 32 pips is the average movement of this candle, and your trade needs to travel 150 pips. Is it going to happen within 4 hours? No. This gives you a little bit of an identification for timing your trade. It tells you that, okay, even though it begins, it doesn't happen in an instant. It can happen in 1 second, which means, okay, so how long do I check it? 15 minutes, and then I come back from the bathroom and I say, okay, it's not working, I close it. 1 hour, I watch one TV show, come back and it's not working, I close it. Well, we need to put it relative to our time frame, and the ATR will tell you relative to your time frame of what the average movement it does. Okay, so we're not really using the indicator to trade or anything. We're just trying to find out, give me a number that it normally moves. Does that make sense? So am I safe? Am I getting thrown out the window yet? Good. Okay. So we're going to use this information to be like, okay, well, it's going to take, yeah, Levy, you're asking 32 per 4 hour. Yes. Per candle, it's moving approximately 32 pips. Yes, Bobby, correct. Okay. So I'm gonna say this one more time. I'm gonna say it one more time. So on the last price, if I put my finger there, what's the number you see? It says 32 here, right? That means each candle in this chart, each candle is 4 hours long, is worth 32 pips on average. If each candle is worth 32 pips on average, and you know your distance that you need to travel to hit your take profit is 150 pips, you know you need approximately 3 to 5 candles to make this trade happen, which means it's going to take you an average of, anywhere between 12 hours onwards. So just panicking after 1 hour saying it's not going to work, it's not the right way to look at it. Does that make sense? Do you get why we use this? Okay, so the critical pieces for time to be very important is not just this little clue of the ATR, but it's also the understanding of, well, it hasn't even started because the markets are not open, so it's probably just hanging around. Okay, does that make sense? And then once the thing starts, then we're looking at the ATR to be like, how long is it going to take for the thing to move? Okay, let's do another example. Let's do another example. Yeah, we'll do the ATR stuff one more time also. Let's do another example. Let's look at another chart that we posted, and we'll look at what happened to that trade, when did it begin, and how long does it take. Yeah, let's do all of that. Okay, so let's remove all these things. Let's go into the next stock that we had. Where's the next one here? Okay, we had Aussie New Zealand. Okay, so Aussie New Zealand, we wanted to do a sell. Okay, so that's the daily. On the 4 hours, we had the pullback coming in, and we're like, okay, prepare for sells. Okay, so let's take a look at this in early April for Aussie New Zealand. Okay, here we go. Conrad, I use interactive brokers. The charts that you're seeing is from TradingView. Okay, so Aussie New Zealand. Here we go. Okay, so for this sell to activate, okay, so I had my arrow around here saying that prepare for these sells, it's coming up. Now, when we're looking at this area and we're getting ready to sell, price is around this zone here. That's around that zone there. Now, first things first, let's go into a lower time frame, very low time frame to see how the activation of that area happens. Okay, look at all this chop that happens from noon all the way till market close. Okay, from lunch hours till market close. This is during US hours. Okay, very dead period here. Then it starts to pick up again during the close. It picks up, moves around, blah, blah, blah. And then it starts to move again. What time is Asian markets? Asian markets is, I believe, 7 p.m. US or 6 p.m. US, something like that. I haven't been in the US for some time, so it's 8 p.m. in the US. Okay, so 8 p.m. in the US puts us right around there. Okay, that's 8 p.m. in the US, right there. Okay, and then around 8, 8:15, 9, boom, markets start to move very, very heavily. Okay, yeah, 8 a.m. Asia. I'm just trying to do it in US time. Okay, I believe in UK that's like around noon or something like that. Okay, it sounds still okay for everybody? Okay, okay. So markets tend to move in that area. So preparations for the trade, saying that can it work, can it not work? Even stuff like pullbacks. If you need pullbacks to happen for your trade, also deeper pullbacks can happen during market opens or market close areas. So generally, I personally like to trade around those times. If I do enter them away from those times, I generally like to keep a wider stop loss to allow that little fidgeting towards market open. Okay, if I've traded information based on the market open, how it opens, how it moves around a little bit until middle of noon or something like that, then I'll be like, okay, let's put in our stops, we're good to go. Okay, so in New York open is Nadia, we're looking for both opens. Okay, whether you do London opening, so around 7 a.m. London time, you need to start preparing to look at the charts, or around 7 a.m. New York time, and then watch for all the movement starting to happen. That's when all the busy hours happen. Okay, so it's like that 3 hour window. Generally, what I tell my students is 7 a.m. till 10. 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. is when markets are going to do their moving around, and they're going to start to settle down and tell you if what you're trying to do is going to work or not. Okay, those 3 hours is like a key window. Okay, so it's strange, isn't it? Because we always think that, well, Forex is a 24-hour market, so we can just trade anytime. And that is true. We can trade anytime, but we have to be careful on if we're trading during the dead hours, then we can't be getting, run over by busy hours, right? Okay, so we got to keep those things in mind. Now, let's take a look at this back on the 4 hours, and let me go through that ATR thing with you guys. Okay, so we're looking, big line. Okay, so we're looking at this on the 4 hours here, and let's plot into the ATR. Average true range, 14 period. And we're looking at this. Okay, what's the number you guys see here? What's the average movement per candle? 28 pips. Yeah, very good. So 28 pips per 4 hours it moves. And if we're needing to target between here for entry all the way down to our low area here, what kind of movement are we looking for? We're going from 900 to 820. So we're going for 80 pips. Okay, so if we're going for 80 pips and each candle moves 28 pips, how long is this going to take? Yeah, around 15 hours, right? Now let's take a look at this. Since the moment this trade has activated, how long has it taken? If I take it all the way down to the current time, it's taken 1 day and 12 hours. Okay, so this ATR thing can give you a rough estimate of how long things can take. LR, yes, ATR does change per candle, but we're just trying to get an average movement. We're just getting an idea of how much it's moving. Okay, so it's just something for us to be like, okay, we shouldn't get out of this trade within 1 hour or 2 hours. We need to let it play out. Okay, and because how many of you guys have this issue where whenever you make a profit, the profits are so small because you close them quickly because you don't want to lose it. But when you're losing, you're thinking it's going to come back, come back, come back, and then it hits a stop loss and your loss is bigger than your profit, right? It's because trying to understand, well, will this profit that's working, how long do I need it to let it run? So that time factor it needs to be allowed in there. There needs to be that timing issue. Okay, JH, but how do we check ATR for every hour? Just if you want to do it on the hourly time frame, just go to the 1 hour charts and it's going to give you the numbers based on your 1 hour chart. So if I put my mouse here, JH, what do you see is the average movement? Yeah, 14 pips. There you go. So now you have an idea for how much it moves on average per hour, per one candle per hour. Do we check every candle? No, it's just to get a rough estimate. Just to get a rough estimate, like, okay, well, 14 pips per movement. I need at least 50 from this trade based on my strategy or my technique, which means it's going to take several hours. That's all. Okay. GBAS is ATR or MT4 also? Yeah, it's a standard indicator, so you can get it from anywhere. All platforms will have them. Every single platform will have it. Average how many candles? It's using I just use it by default, which is 14, which means it will check the last 14 candles and give you the average. Okay. All right. So these are something, over the past decade that I've been teaching, I've noticed a lot of the students, even though they have the right strategy and technique, they generally tend to close their trades quickly due to doubt, thinking that, well, will it work? Will it not work? But it's just knowing this information will be like, well, according to the information I have, the data I have, it tells me wait at least 4 or 5 hours. Okay, let's wait 4 or 5 hours and then we'll see. So you can do it that way. But you have to know your strategy first and really, really well. How many of you guys have a solid way to trade? Okay, let's hear it. How many of you guys are in the MPA students? How many of you guys here are mastering price action students and have a proper way to trade? Okay, good. Good, good, good. Good to see. Good to see. Okay, starting MPA week 3. All right, good. Yeah, so one of the key things, before even coming to timing has to be, do you have a proper method to trade? When you look at this chart, do sorry, when I go back to the 4 hours, do you know why we're trying to hit that sell? If I show you this chart here, you know, how can we predict much ahead of time that we're trying to do a buy on this when the charts look like it's a downtrend? Stuff like this. When if you're doing your preparations and everything, if you have a technique to read the markets, then you go into timing after that. But if you don't, if you're doing timing before that, but you don't know what you're trying to do and it's different every single time, things won't work. Okay. So basically, concentrate trading in opening hours, basically, and sleep in between. Yeah, if you really want to keep it very focused, yeah, you can do that. You know, many big traders trade around those opening hours. Okay. Um, okay. So ZD, you're saying please show us some examples of reading the markets. Please go through some trades, price action and whatnot. Okay, how many of you guys want to see us go through, you know, one of these trades and talk about what I saw, how it happened, and stuff like that? Okay, and for those of you guys who are in the Mastering Price Action course, this can be helpful as well. Okay, so let's go through it. Let's go through it. I won't go into very aggressive details, but I will get you guys the basics of it. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here, CAD Yen, as that one was very simple and straightforward. That won't cause any confusion. Okay, so in CAD Yen, I'm going to take a screenshot here. Okay, oh, sorry. I don't know why it doesn't do a screenshot properly. Okay, there we go. Okay, can everyone see my circle? Fantastic. Okay. So what I'm doing, for example, in this CAD Yen, is I did my research with correlation and all that stuff, and based on my correlation and all that other stuff, we can go into correlation in a different webinar. But I look at the market saying this market overall flow has a downtrend. Okay, based on that downtrend, I'm looking for some significant break happening in the nearby areas. And I see this area and I'm like, wow, okay, the sellers are quite strong, right? Sellers are quite strong. I need to sell it, but there's no way I'm selling it down here. Okay? That's the average trader. He sells it down there because he's thinking, oh my God, it's going, it's going, it's going, and he sells it. For me, it's like, no, give me a discount, get me a better price, and then I'll sell it. Okay? But for me to sell it, I need to know for sure it's going to work. Okay? And once I do all the research and increase my odds that it looks as certain as I can be that the sell is going to work, then I go into, you know, my 4-hour chart and be like, okay, well, that's the area around here where I said I need a pullback to happen for me to sell it. Right? Yeah, the big boys, right? Go with the big boys. Now, what do you think is happening on the 4-hour chart here? If I do this, okay, this will help you guys understand the logic a little bit. If I do this, what do you think the world is doing at this stage on the 4-hour chart? If I just do that, I've covered it with the black screen. They're selling. Okay, what do you think is happening to the world at this point? Right here. Yeah. Well, the people who are saying buying, I can tell you this, retail traders do not buy that. Because what does the eye see? The eye sees a massive downward movement. No one is actually doing this buy. Everyone is still looking at this as support equals resistance, sell it. Right? Does that make sense? So no one's really looking at this as, you know, it's a buy. They're all looking at this as it's still a sell. Okay, let's move it forward. Boom, 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 boom. Now what happens? Yeah. Now they're all stopped out or anything like that, and they're like, oh my God, it's not a sell, it's a buy. Very good, Stefan. It's a buy. So why do they buy it? Because it's going up. If I don't buy it now, I'm gonna miss my Ferrari. So then they start to jump in. All right? No techniques, no strategies, nothing. Everything starts to jump in. Not to mention, all indicators turn upwards too at this time. Okay. Now everyone is buying at this stage, right? I'm going to put a circle where everyone starts going crazy and starts buying. But now take a look at this on the daily chart. That area is right here. Do you think anyone on the daily chart is looking to buy? No, they don't care. They're just like on standby. They're like, okay, well, some pullback coming in, 10%. It's not a big deal. But on the 4 hour, people don't see that. So they're jumping in on these buys, left and right. And in this process, as price gets higher and higher and higher, more and more and more people jump in. Right? Now, in this area where more and more people jump in, I'm waiting for show me a sign from the big boy that he's coming. And when I see some aggressive selling come in, for me, that's a sign that he's here. It's time to go back for the sell. Because who in their right minds can push the market back down in the face of all this upward movement? Who can do that? Only a big boy. Only a big boy. So whenever I'm looking at situations like that, and I'm like, oh my God, everyone's doing the buy and the big boy just stepped in, while they're still looking at their buys, thinking that, oh, that support equals resistance, keep buying, keep buying. Okay, let me ask all of you guys this one question. If even me, okay, even me, this happens to me too. If you and I are in a buy and the market pulls back a little bit, don't we think, oh, it's just a pullback and then it's going to go up more? So when this red candle comes in, what do you think we're thinking as previous buyers? What do you think we're thinking? Oh, it's just a pullback. We're gonna prepare for buys. It's okay. It's coming in deeper. But no one notices a sell coming in because once you're in a trade, your mind gets so one track, one-sided, that you cannot see the other side. You only see your side. It becomes very psychological. Okay? It's almost like as if the other side does not exist. Everything is all cross your fingers. Come on, baby, let's go up. Right? So it becomes like that. So in that area is the moments where I'm looking to hit the sells. Preparing and hit the sells. And when the sell happens, I'm looking to take it all the way back down to the same area where the buyers came in last time. That's why I go down to this area for my targets. It's like, okay, come down to here and I'm out. So this is a very simple, very straightforward trade where I know, okay, I need to get in somewhere here, I need to get out somewhere there. It's 150 pips. Then I bring in the timing. Well, how long do I need to do that? Can I go to the swimming pool on the 118th floor, or do I need to sit here and babysit this? So you got to think of all these questions of like, well, how much time do I have? All right? Does that make sense? How we bring in timing based on how you're supposed to trade? Yeah. So how long, let's take a look at this. How long does this trade take? So this trade, okay, if I go back to CAD yen, and we see that on CAD yen, we needed, I believe this is the one that we said we needed, what, 150 pips or something? Let me see. This is from 83.58. Sorry, 83.58 going down to somewhere around here to 82.55. So we're looking at a 100 pip movement that we need approximately. Okay, 100 pip approximately we need on this. Let's take a look at this on the wonderful ATR. Okay. Okay, and this one, the average movement is 32 pips. If I need 100 pips approximately, and this is going for 32 pips per candle on average, how long do I have? I have an average of 12 hours, or let's say 10 hours to be safe, right? That means I can sleep, I can wake up, I can go out for lunch, I can go out for squash, I can do all kinds of things, right? Now let's see how long has it actually taken. Okay, if I do it from here to there, it's taken 6 bars, which is 1 business day, anywhere between 20 to 24 hours it's taken. Okay, so, but in the time frame that you gave it for 10 hours, the markets were moving and they were solid red, 8 to 10 hours, they were solid red. That means the trade's working. Okay, but at least it helps you to understand that it's not going to be less than that. Okay, it can be a little an hour or so sometimes if the market's very fast, but at least you know you have some time to yourself. It's not going to be in the next 1-2 hours. Yeah, it takes the mystery out of it, right? Uh, Khalid, it's 32 pips per candle. Okay, does this work well on 60-15? Yeah, any time frame. The ATR will pick up based on your 14 candles of the chart that you're looking at, whether it's a 5-minute chart, 10-minute chart, whatever chart you're looking at. It'll give you the average movement of the last 14 candles or so. Doesn't candle time matter? For example, when I'm in the middle of the candle, it starts reversing towards the end. No, see, that has a lot to do with your strategy and technique. Okay, if you're looking at candlestick patterns, then that's going to be a big problem because one single candlestick pattern is not so devastating on your charts. Okay, let me see if I can find an example for that. That's a good question though. Let me see here. Let me see if Aussie New Zealand. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So if our target's down here, but we see a pullback like that, or candle formations like that, or a candle formation like that, isn't that going to freak us out? That's going to scare us. It's going to tell us, no, we're not going to keep going for the sell. It's going to say, well, we should exit as soon as possible. But if you have your method down and you have your technique, you should be like, well, I need to keep going. I need to keep going because whenever I've done the research, 9 out of 10 times, it always goes to take profit. In fact, it goes further. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Yash, what are the other indications that pullbacks are coming to an end? Okay, so that's a decent question. I'm going to let some of my students answer that question. So, okay, so this is a question for all MPA students. Okay, so let's see how much you've learned and how much you can do this well. If the market's in a downtrend, right? The markets are in a downtrend and you're getting a pullback like this coming in. How do you know when this pullback is going to end? Is it here? Rubber band man, right? Good, good. Is it here? Why not over here? Let's go step by step. Why not here? Okay, he's still got so much power and very little rest. So what? Okay, so for those of you who do not know, or not in the course, the rubber band man is like imagine a person running with a rubber band, around his stomach. So he's running upwards, and everything keeps pulling him back, and he rests down for 30%. So he's running really hard, and 30% of a rest. Okay, then he runs again. He barely beats his previous record. He runs just a little bit, and then he rests 80, 90%. Then he runs up again, barely making any higher highs, and he comes collapsing down. Would you say that runner who was running up is strong anymore? No. And that's how you start to get an idea of a pullback is dying. So what an average trader will do, when you're looking at supply and demand traders, they'll be like, okay, come up to this area and I'll just hit it. Okay, what a Fibonacci trader will do is say, come up 50% and I'll just hit it without knowing, well, what is it going to work or is it not going to work? You need to see the fading happen. He needs Gatorade. Does that make sense? I forgot the name who asked that question, but does that make sense for all of you guys who are looking at this for the first time? Okay, so this will help you to understand when a pullback is slowing down. Okay. Why do you need to know how long it takes? You can set up this stop loss and take profit and leave it. No, okay, Manny, that's a very, very good question, and it has to do with the topic today's webinar. So that's a question. Okay, now let me ask you guys this. let's say you put in your take profit down here, and you put your stop loss up here, and you know you have to travel 150 pips, and you did your ATR, and the ATR says within 18 hours you should be there, right? Approximately 18 hours. It's giving you a time of approximately 18 hours. Now, 26 hours have passed by, and you still haven't reached your take profit. Shouldn't you be concerned? Or do we always have to say either it hits this or it hits that? That's it. That's our only thing. Either loss or win. You know, it's like those guys going to war. We either come back winning or we lose. That's it. It's like do or die. So we wanna be, smart about it and protect our profits when we can. So this, it's a little just it's not so much of a big hint. It's a little of a hint, knowing time. It gives you a more better understanding of how big is this trade, how long should it take. Okay, hope that makes sense. Um, Navin, just to confirm, are you looking for a direction on the daily chart and then using 4 hours for entry? Yeah, for these trades, yes. ATR is just the average, that's correct. How many points should we consider? Sorry, how many points should we consider during analysis of a trade? Oh, there's many points, Theo. And if I go through all of them, it's going to take forever. And how many of you guys in the MPA course will agree? If I cover everything all in one shot, it never works. It never works. Like, there's a reason why in the course I make you go through it in 7 weeks, piece by piece by piece. I can give you all, let's say if you guys are in like a bachelor's degree and I give you PhD level courses, you're never gonna make it. You're never gonna make it. It's gonna be so overwhelming that you're gonna quit. And my job is to not make you quit, but to actually make you get through it, even though it's difficult, but I make it easy as much as possible. Right? So that's why, with the way I teach, with how long it takes, I make sure, yeah, slow torture makes you stronger. So, is ATR on MT4? Yes, Michael. It's on ATR as well. It's on MT4 as well. Okay. Conrad, I suspended my trading till I finish MPA. Good, 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 good. I've been seeing a lot of you guys' reviews about the MPAs on how your trading has changed dramatically. I'm even starting to get some statements from a lot of you guys saying, "Look at my last trade. Look at my last trade." And you guys are doing fantastic. And I have to say, I'm very proud of you guys, for the work and effort you guys have put in. I do my best to help teach you guys, but at the end of the day, you guys put in the work and, pull yourself through. So good stuff there. What is a good time frame to look into this rubber band? Nestle, it works on every time frame, that rubber band technique. Can you get a 7 weeks trial on TradingView for MPA students? For TradingView, no. I'm in the talks with the owner of TradingView. Let's see what we can do, if we can get a special promotion. But there's also something different I'm doing for some of the MPA students, where we're going to start releasing a very unique trading journal. We're in talks with the owner of the company as well. We're trying to see if we can get something customized and made to deliver for you guys, so you guys can really even step up the game even more. So that's going to be something that you guys can look forward to. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, you're welcome, Michael. Mitch and Naveen, if we are in seller's territory on the daily, but the daily flow says buy, do we discard the daily flow in terms of correlation? No. You know, there's one thing that the daily is a big boy, but there is another thing that the correlation. Correlation is the biggest boy. Okay, correlation is the biggest boy. He's the hidden, you know, It's like government is something that everyone sees, but there is people controlling the government, which the people don't see. It's like that. Correlation is just like that. You can see someone on TV, but that's not who's really running the markets. Okay, so correlations like that. It's a hidden power running in the background. And if you can understand that, then you want to follow that as much as you can. Okay, John, there's not much correlation at the moment. So let's take a look at correlation too. I can give you guys an idea on who's in control of the markets. Let's see here, currency strength. Ba-ba-bum. Here we go. So looking at this from April 3rd, yesterday's market, Euro was extremely weak, CAD extremely strong, and that's it. The world is dumping euros and the world is buying CADs. Okay, the big money, the smart money, is jumping in on CADs and getting rid of euros. Okay, so having that information, and if you're trying to buy the euro based on your strategy, well, it can work, but you're going to have a lot of complications. Does that make sense? All right. Yeah, you can use this in the stock markets as well, even in the futures markets and stuff like that. Basically any markets that has some kind of movement and manipulation and stuff like that, it's going to be readable. All right, guys. So for those of you guys who are curious about the Mastering Price Action course and do not have the course, you guys can pick it up on the link that I'm about to share. Armo, if you can get the link up for these guys. So you guys can pick up the Mastering Price Action course. It's a $6,000 course that we've lowered it down so we can make sure we can help as much people as possible. We brought it down to $197, and I can open it up for you guys here. So I brought it down to $197, and we are going to be looking to raise the prices. And those of you guys who are in the Mastering Price Action course, can you please let the students know who haven't joined it of how you like it, so they can have live feedback of how good it is. So I'm glad all of you guys are here. I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the members area as well. There is more stuff to come, and it's just wonderful to see you guys, every 2 weeks here in the webinars, and also seeing your progress in the course. And it's great. It's great. If any of you guys are in Hong Kong, please do let me know. We can catch up. Otherwise, next week I will be in Bangkok. So anyone in Bangkok can drop us an email as well. If there's any questions, you guys can email me at navin@urbanforex.com. And I look forward to seeing all of your progresses. Thanks a lot for coming in, guys.